Hello, farmers, and welcome to another episode of The Harvest Season. My name is Al.
I'm Kevin.
And we're here today to talk about farming games. All the farming games.
Yeah.
Woo!
Woo.
Before we get into it, your regular reminder that transcripts are available in the show notes and on the website for the podcast, so go get them if you need them. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm tired. It's been a busy month for me for a number of many things. But outside of that and the brief snippets of gaming, I got, I've been playing a lot of Marvel Snap. It's good. I've been playing Octopath Traveler. It's good. There was a Minecraft update recently.
Another? They just keep going. They never stop with that game.
Yeah, they really don't. And I'm talking about not patch note, not bug fix or whatever. I'm talking a big content update. They introduced archaeology, quote unquote, into Minecraft, where you can dig into little ruins and discover little trinkets and shards and things like that and make pottery. They added sakura, cherry blossom forests. And they added camels. That's the real highlight of this update. They're cute. I like camels. So for people who enjoy Minecraft, go check it out. Always fun to fire it up again when a new thing is out. Other than that, I watched the first episode. Yeah, there's only one so far, at least at the time of this recording. Secret Invasion, the latest MCU series to hit Disney Plus.
Yep.
I know MCU turns people off right away, but this is a good one. It was a banger of an opening. That show hit the ground running, wasted no time. I won't get too much into detail, but I enjoyed the ending. I enjoyed the action. I enjoyed the setup. Everything was good. No complaints.
I have one complaint, but it's a spoilery complaint, so I'm not going to...
Oh, well, okay. Yes, I can complain about that too, but I wasn't bringing it up.
We're not going to bring it up. But we're annoyed.
Okay.
Annoyed. How dare you do that? I find it funny because, like you say, this series is a good one, right? We've only got one episode, but assuming it continues in this way, I feel like the series have generally been good. What was the last bad series? Some people didn't like Ms. Marvel because it's just not their kind of thing. Fair enough. Some people wished that She-Hulk maybe had some more lawyer stuff. Some people were very sexist about She-Hulk. But other than that, I think most of it has been if you didn't like it, it's just not your style of thing. I feel like the shows have been really good.
I agree with that. I can't think of anything super offensive. I mean, there's individual issues movies.
There's individual issues that people had with specific things that happen or some episodes and stuff like that. But I don't.
Yeah.
Outside of I wish that She-Hulk had more lawyer stuff, and I didn't really like how kiddie Ms. Marvel was, and some sexist stuff. Outside of those three things, I've not really heard anyone go, I just did not like this series, or this series is bad.
I'm looking at a list here. Yeah, my least favorite was probably Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't think it's bad per se. Just I enjoyed the other ones more. Maybe Miss Marvel. But anyways, looking at it, I've enjoyed them all. There's definitely been weaker series or weak points of the series. WandaVision, that ending, oof. But no, you're right. It's been, it's clear they put the money in. I didn't know what to expect from these series. I didn't know if Marvel / MCU has tried TV stuff before, and it's all been, kind of erased, or they're trying to erase it from history.
Some of it's been great. I can understand why some of it's not amazing, right? And obviously there were many parts of Agents of the Shield that maybe they could have just missed some episodes and it still would have been good. But the Netflix series were almost all great. Let's ignore Luke Cage. Not Luke Cage. Sorry, let's ignore Iron Fist.
Yes, that's the one I was about to say.
But I know some people didn't really like the Defenders, but other than that, generally really liked.
I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. I haven't watched them myself. I'm only speaking of what I've heard. But to your point, no, looking at the Disney Plus series, it's been, they don't feel like side projects per se, right? Whereas, quality, whatever it may have been, the other series definitely felt like side projects, whether it was Agents of Shields or the Netflix stuff. But here, no, it's clear they're basically broken up movies. That's what these series are. And so if you know how you feel about the MCU, that's probably how you feel about these series.
That's fair. I feel like the overall quality has been better, and they could probably have like trimmed a few of them down and stuff like that. But I certainly have enjoyed every single one of them. I obviously have my favorites.
Yeah, of course.
By default, you have to have your least favorites. Oh, yeah, Moon Knight was good. But I actually find it really hard to decide what my favorite would be. Like, I loved WandaVision. I would probably say Falcon and the Winter Soldier isn't my favorite, but I still really like it. Loved Loki, loved What If, loved Hawkeye, loved Moon Knight, loved Ms. Marvel, loved She-Hulk, and I'm very much enjoying Secret Invasion so far. Like, I have enjoyed every single one of them.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. It'll be interesting to see how Secret Invasion holds up. Like, the one big advantage this series has is Samuel L. Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Like,
that
man can act. I didn't know if you knew that, but he's an actor.
I feel like he's thrown himself into this one as well. He's not just like, it's not just a paycheck for him. Like, he's actually, he's doing it.
Yeah,
he's acting it.
Yeah. And it's a fun premise for people who don't know. Secret Invasion is an adaptation in the comics, because it's a storyline where there are alien shapeshifters invading Earth, posing as people, and they're basically running with that same basic premise. So now it's an interesting question of who do you trust, who's an alien, yada yada yada. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode, which airs tomorrow. Or no, not tomorrow. I'm losing track of the days. Next Thursday. They release on Thursdays. Wednesdays. What? Oh my gosh. Time has no meaning for me anymore. What have you been up to?
So I too have been watching Secret Invasion. I have not really been playing any games other than a couple of games that for the podcast that listeners will hear in about a month and a half. Because my Switch is still getting fixed. So
better. Hopefully it'll come in soon, because boy, there's some good things coming to the Switch.
Yeah, I know. I want it to come back. As long as it gets to me by just before I go on holiday, then I'm happy, right? There's nothing in the next couple of weeks that I'm like, oh, I must play this. I'm obviously missing it. There are some things I would like to be playing just now, but as long as it gets to me before I go on holiday, and as long as it has my Pokemon saves, that's all I care about.
Sounds good to me.
So, before we get into the news, we have some feedback.
Okay. Is this the first time this has happened?
I think it's the first time it's happened so much as I felt the need to cover it on the podcast. We've had a few game devs like reply and kind of not clarify things, but just like thank us and like.
Well, sure. There's
I think this is the first time we've had like a clarification to something that was said on the podcast
from the developers or the team, whoever the official people.
So last episode, Bev and Cody were talking about Mossfield Origins. And I think there were a couple of things mentioned. First of all, it was mentioned that it looks a bit like it has, it doesn't really have goals and stuff like that. And the developer has replied to us and said that it, in fact, does have goals. There are research levels, and each research level has stuff to progress, and various things change over time. And it doesn't matter if you take a while to do these goals. It's less sandbox and more narrative driven. So that's good to know. And also a follow-up for that was there was mentioned that it was very sepia, and I can't remember who it was. One of the two said they weren't a huge fan of the sepia tones. And the developer has said it's less sepia and more vibrant now than it used to be. There was a Steam post about that. So if you're interested in looking up that, there you can look on the Steam Steam page and see the post for that.
Yeah.
So, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. So, and this means they're listening.
Yeah.
They're listening.
Well, let me tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if they were the only developer actually listening when they respond to my tweets, because so many times, like, I'll say something negative or something, and they just like it and retweet it, and that's it, and they've clearly not listened to it. Whereas this developer is very definitely listening, because you wouldn't know that without having listened to the podcast. So that's cool. Thank you very much if you're listening this time.
See, now the play is to title this episode something cryptic in regards to Mossfield, and then they're going to be sweating as they listen for this very moment in the podcast.
Something clickbaity, like developer slams podcast hosts. You wouldn't believe what this developer said.
Our response to Mossfield devs.
We wouldn't do that. That's mean. We wouldn't do that. We wouldn't. All right, cool. So let's talk about some news. So I thought there's quite a few releases just now, so I thought I would just do a quick rundown of what's happened. So we've just had Everdream Valley release on Switch. And then Kevin is crying because we also then have 2 releases that will be out by the time this episode comes out. One Lonely Outpost and Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life.
Wait, Lonely Outpost was coming out? Didn't they say
it's early access?
Oh, early. Okay, so not coming. Okay.
Well, people will be able to play it and buy it, right? It's just
sure
early access.
We won't go. We don't
need to go into that debate again.
I'm just saying that I'm just gonna say that I feel like there's a game that's filled that niche that Re-Legend had. But anyways, what I am crying over is Story of Seasons. Oh no, that's 3 days from the day of this recording. I don't like it. No, I don't need it now. I want A Wonderful Life.
You're excited about this, Kevin.
I am so excited. It may be the game well, that's not true. There's a lot of good games coming out now, but at least in terms of the cottagecore sphere on this podcasting field, it's probably the game I'm most excited for. No, that's not true. Mineko comes out this year. I don't know how I'm not ready for this game, but I need it. It's A Wonderful Life. It's a good game. I'm wondering.
I'm doing okay there, Kevin.
No. I'm falling apart before the podcast. I'm just falling apart more. I wonder. This feels like probably one of the biggest quote unquote releases in the cottagecore field in a while. I'm curious to see how much traction or attention it gets, because
yes,
this is the nostalgia, right? Like that's always a big one.
It's not just nostalgia, but it's specific nostalgia for this one. Because like exactly, this one, as I've mentioned this a couple of times, but this seems to be like most people who are kind of like our sort of age, this was their first farming game.
Yeah, absolutely. The time planets just kind of aligned in the timeline. There wasn't a lot of competition back then, right? Like so
sure, but it wasn't one of the earlier Harvest Moons. It was this one specifically.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think it might just be like the age we were when it came out. We're old enough to appreciate it versus, little kids probably don't fully get the intricacies of a farming game or whatever. Anyways, point is, there's a lot more people who care about this than, say, Everdream Valley. No offense to Everdream Valley or any of the other games. Just
the call out. My word.
The name I saw. It's just, this is a big one. So I'm really curious to see if this gets some traction, and if it does, we will absolutely abuse the SEO and hashtag AWL or whatever we need to do to get people listening to this show.
Definitely. And it'll be interesting to see how it works out compared to the original and your nostalgia and stuff.
Oh gosh. I'm trying not to think about that because I'm not a big fan of some of the changes they've done. but we'll see. Hopefully, I mean, story of seasons though, so it'll probably be good, at least mechanically.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the actual new news. So first of all, Palia. So this was on the Nintendo Direct that Palia is coming to Switch by the end of the year. Wow. So I mean, if you've not paid attention to what Palia is, we've talked about it a couple of times, but it's a free to play cottagecore MMO set in a high fantasy world.
Yeah, I've missed. I haven't paying too close attention to Palia until the direct one is forced in my face, basically. Yeah. I don't know what to think. I mean, have people been enjoying this already? I don't know. It's a tough spot to be in. MMO and cottagecore, like it's those are both big playing fields with big players. So it takes a lot to stand out.
It's an interesting combination of things.
It is.
Like, how well is it going to work having a cottagecore MMO?
I mean, I think on paper those two Venn diagram circles overlap a lot, because a lot of cottagecore / farming is like task based, right? You got to do your farming tasks, your fishing, yada yada, and a lot of MMO stuff is like that too. So it probably lines up well.
Yeah. I guess it'll be interesting because, like, there are some things that can be in MMOs that are very definitely not calming, and very much stressful. So it'll be interesting to see how it works with those sorts of things. I will admit I haven't really looked into the game, but yeah, that's it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Are you saying you don't want 10-person farming raids, whatever that would look like?
I didn't say that. No.
Okay. So all of that, like the general stuff aside, more specifically, I'm curious: is this going to be cross-play? You would hope so, right?
I think so. Yeah. The interesting thing is, when they posted about this, they still hadn't technically said that the PC version would be fully released by this year, and so they had some people complaining about that. So they were like, "Oh no, it will be fully releasing on PC before Switch. Don't worry."
The fully released version exclusive to Switch.
Yeah. I'm not seeing anything about crossplay, but I'm not seeing anything about not crossplay. Like, surely it would be, right?
Yeah, it would be bananas if it didn't, because they I can't. That feels like the bread and butter for this sort of genre, to have everyone connect online, right? So it'd be weird to split up your audience like that.
Oh yes, here we are. I checked on their blog. We intend to support cross progression and cross play, so you can bring your Palia character from PC to Nintendo Switch or vice versa. We're still working out the final details, so be sure to stay tuned to our Discord, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for all the latest updates.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, good for them. What else we got going on?
Yes, so Sunhaven, a new update for Sunhaven 1.2. Cool. Give me it on Switch, please. Hurry up. So this is the Romance and Barnes update.
You can romance Barnes?
Yeah, everybody loves to romance Barnes. So it's got new romanceable characters, 3 of them, I believe. Some new and upgradable farm building with customization. Some new player house customizability. There's quite a lot of customizability here. Lots of colors, lots of things. You can customize your farm building to look like a tub of noodles.
That's not bad. That you've caught my attention.
I thought I would. I know you, Kevin. I knew you'd be interested in that.
Now I was about to say this game looks busy. Just looking down the pictures and adding more to that is chaotic. But when you told me, and I see it now, the Chinese takeout ramen box. Like, okay, no, they're onto something. Now they have my attention. As soon as they hit the switch,
you can make the player house look like a gingerbread house.
A cup of coffee. Can I have cat ears?
I love the cat ears.
Yeah.
And 4 new DLC packs. So their DLC packs are all like additional player cosmetics.
Yeah.
There's a Snackoon costume. So this Snackoon one is free as well, so you can go get the Snackoon outfit. I suspect they've done this to just get you used to the idea of getting a DLC. There's the Set Sail DLC, which contains over 40 items. The pirate themed pack. Next, you have the Mushy DLC, which is a mushroom themed pack with over 40 items as well.
I don't like mushrooms.
And
not eating, at least.
Well, no, but I mean, you like things that are themed like mushrooms.
I do love the mushroom themed things, though.
And the Ocean Shores DLC, which contains over 30 items, and it's a beach themed pack.
This is pretty cool. Just thinking about this, I have paid attention to Sun Haven, but it's fallen out of my brain, so I'm repaying attention right now. Going all out and turning your farm into nonsense, that's not something you see that frequently. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Look, I'm looking forward to playing this game. I just want it on the Switch. Can we get it on the Switch, please? Coming soon. Bunch of stuff. Give me on Switch.
That's a common sentiment for most things in my life.
I'm not even seeing any mention of the Switch anymore.
They're listening to this right now, just like the Mosty people. They're avoiding it intentionally.
Yeah. Anyway, cool. What's next? We've got Silent Hope. So this is a new game announced by the Rune Factory team, because they hadn't announced enough games recently. This is a battle and farming RPG. So, I mean, same concept as Rune Factory, but a different way of thinking about it, they've said. It is in the same world as Rune Factory. It also, contains the chicken and cow.
Yeah.
The same chicken and cow.
I didn't pay attention. It's the cow.
It's the cow and the chicken.
Oh, I love that cow.
And it's coming out on the 3rd of October on Steam and Switch.
I'm
intrigued by this. It looks a lot more like something I would enjoy. It looks like if somebody had designed Rune Factory for me to like.
Sure.
Like, it just looks a lot more fun. And they're keeping on the kind of like 2.5D style. Like, you're kind of like, you're moving around in 3 dimensions, but you're not like, your camera isn't like down low, and I just don't. I'm not a huge fan of how Rune Factory has gone. I'm not saying they shouldn't do that. I know a lot of people would enjoy. I'm just personally not a huge fan of that. But I much prefer the graphics to this, and the combat looks more fun to me. So I will almost certainly be picking this up.
It was on the Direct. I watched it, wasn't paying too much attention, probably because I was still reeling from other news. But now, like, I totally missed that it was in the Rune Factory world. That's cool. I say as someone who's never played a Rune Factory game.
Yeah, but it's still you can it's cool in concept, even if you've never actually been part of that universe.
Yeah. Looking at it, I agree with your points. It looks dynamic. The visuals are nice enough. And it has the cow. That's all. That's the selling point.
It is one of the best designed cows in the genre.
It really is.
You'd be hard pressed to find a better cow.
Yep. So yeah, do we have I forget. Did you say a date? Do we have a date?
Yeah, 3rd of October. So, although I say I will be buying this, let's be honest, I'm not going to buy it and play it on release day, because that's only a week after Mineko's Night Market, Harvest Moon, The Winds of Anthos, Paleo Pines, and My Time at Sandrock all release.
How are you going to survive that week? Good heavens.
I'm going to survive it by not playing My Time at Sandrock. Yeah, I don't know, dude. We've got. I'm trying to figure out the right order to do these things.
And that's only the cottage core obligations. There's some other good junk coming out then.
Well, yeah, there's a few weeks at least before other things come out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, yeah, it's definitely going to be a busy autumn.
Surprise! Pokemon DLC launches that week.
I don't think it would come out in October.
No, I don't think so either.
And I think it will come out in November.
Probably.
I think it'll be November and February. I think will be what it is. But we'll see. We'll talk about that on a different thing. And the final news entry is another new game, Wild Mender. So I think this one was mentioned on the. Was this one mentioned on the? No, it wasn't mentioned on the direct. This was just another random thing. What was this? So this is a desert gardening survival game. Start from a tiny spring and cultivate a blooming garden. Explore a vast world amid the sands and uncover its mysteries. Can you defend against the relentless forces of nature and mysterious wraith corruption to bring life to a dying world? That was a lot of words.
It was.
I'm not really sure how to get all in. I like the graphics.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the trailer. This has very pleasing visuals.
It's a really nice kind of combination. It's kind of like a nice balance between it's not ridiculously cartoony, but it's also not trying to be realistic. It's clearly like more on the kind of like, I guess kind of like, Breath of the Wild kind of idea, like
in that
realistic
general direction.
Cartoony, if that makes sense. Like it's not trying to look Wind Waker-y, like really ridiculously cartoony, but it's not trying to look realistic.
Yeah, no, I totally see what you mean. And something it does very well is lighting. Like there's some like sunset scenes, and you have like a little cape that's glowing, and that's really pretty. There's glowing plants and things.
There's Northern Lights, or I guess it's usually Aurora. I don't know where this is. There's some Aurora.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot going on. I'll be keeping an eye on this because it does look very pretty. If nothing else, like these visuals are worth checking out.
Yeah. It looks like it might. I've not seen a mention of it, but it looks like it might be open world. It's definitely kind of like the way that you're traveling is very much like kind of Breath of the Wild type thing, where you're kind of running around and climbing. It looks like you can climb anything and kind of go anywhere, sort of thing.
So a minor complaint, and this is probably just a personal thing, they're selling themselves as a desert game. There's a lot of not desert in this game. There's a lot of lush forests and
well, I think the point is you're turning the desert into a forest. I think that's the point. Because it says, turn the desert green. With the tools you crafted, set out to grow the little oasis in the middle of a vast desert into your own thriving garden. Plant seeds, dig canals, nurture your plants, craft useful and beautiful structures, harness magical essence, protect against the forces of nature, and more. You'll have plenty of space and choices to create the garden of your imagination. Acre by acre, you will reclaim the desert and reforest the world.
I get that. But I also would like to see a game that's just purely desert farming. I want to see what that would look like. But
yeah, so I'm guessing the kind of your loop here is you go out into the desert to explore and find things. You come back to your oasis and you nurture it and grow things, and that slowly expands. And then as that expands, you're then able to explore further out.
Yeah. It's a good looking game. I will keep my eye on this. Was it Wild Mender? Yeah.
Wild Mender. I've not seen anything about Switch. It looks like it's just Windows on Steam, as far as I can see.
Well, hopefully it does well enough that they feel a Switch port would be justified.
Yes, and presumably it'll work on the Steam Deck. So, the good thing, as I've mentioned before, about Steam Deck is that it gets people thinking of controllers from the start, so that then porting to Switch can be a little bit easier in that aspect of things.
Yeah, that's very true.
All right, cool. That's all the news. So I realized I didn't mention at the top what we're doing.
Well, you say we're going to talk about farming games, and we're going to talk about farming games.
So we're gonna do a mid-year catch-up. So this is the middle of the year. This is the 26th episode of the year. My word, that's ridiculous.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
We have now done more episodes this year than we did, or as many episodes this year as we did last year.
Oh, so. That's cool, but I don't like the halfway point thing. Oh no.
So we're going to talk about what's happened so far. Out of what's happened so far, what's our favorite? Is anything in contention for Game of the Year so far? And we'll maybe go over what's still to come out, which I'm just going to reorganize things. So I'll pull that down. So I guess I'll just go through this list of things that have released so far. Because I've got much better on keeping track of what games are coming out. And so hopefully this will be much easier at the end of the year as well. So here's my long list. We love lists. Games released so far this year: Above Snakes, Before the Green Moon, Everdream Valley, Fabledon, Early Access, Farming Simulator 23, Garden Inn, Homestead Arcana, Enchanted, Research Story, Early Access, Roots of Pacha, Season, A Letter to the Future, Smooshy Come Home, Song of the Prairie, Sundown, Sunhaven 1.0, Tchia, Terra Nil, and of course, not technically out yet, but by the time this podcast comes out, are One Lonely Outpost Early Access. No, I'm going to redo that one. One Lonely Outpost Early Access, and Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. Oh, I think that's more games than came out in 2021.
It feels like it.
Yeah, looking at the list, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's like 12 games that came out in 2021, and that is more than 12 games.
I mean, well, okay. Not just cottagecore. It feels like gaming in general. A lot is coming out this year. I think that might be thanks to getting over the COVID pandemic stuff, or a lot of that, by this point people have adjusted or whatever, or that's just a thought. Maybe I have no actual evidence of that. But that is a lot of games, though. I'm on the show every now and then, and I don't know some of these games. What is Smooshy? What is Smooshy? What is Before the Green Moon? What are these?
So Smooshy Come Home is the one where you're a wee toadstool or mushroom type thing, and you're running around delivering mail and doing tasks and stuff like that.
What? I don't remember this. This is an adorable mushroom guy.
Yeah, it came out like 2 weeks ago.
It's on Switch. What?
It was a shadow drop for the Wholesome Direct.
What? I'm going to look at this. That's an adorable mushroom man guy thing. Okay. That's new. Oh wow, that's news to me.
There are. So I just counted. So in 2019 there were 14 games that I've tracked that came out. In 2020 there were 10 games that came out. Makes sense. 2020. In 2021 there were 16 games that came out. So far this year, that was 19 games.
Wow, that's a lot.
So Kevin. Maybe I should go first because mine's less. So I don't think I've played any of these games, like at all. I legitimately don't think I've played any of these games, which is really kind of a little bit embarrassing to say, and also quite a little bit shocking that I've not played a single game that's come out this year so far. We're halfway through the year and I've not played a single 2023 game.
I think it's two things. One, a few things. One, there's a lot of games in general / life in general. Like you can't blame anyone for that. But two, it's not like this show's not covering anything. We're still trying to catch up from older stuff, right?
Yeah,
like,
I think there's a lot. I was looking through the list of episodes that I've been on, and the game ones are all games that came out at the end of last year, basically.
Yeah. And three, we've got. I don't know the statistics, but we've got a lot of people on the team now for this show, right? So it's been splitting up more. So some of the games that have been played that come out this year were played by other people that weren't you.
Yes, that is true. The podcast has covered them, but also all of the games I was most looking forward to aren't out yet, right? So we've got Mineko's Night Market, which isn't out yet.
That's
we've
terrifying.
Got Snacko, which isn't out yet. We've got, what else was there?
Winds of Anthos, Paleo Pines.
I mean, I wouldn't say the Winds of Anthos is what I'm most excited about, but of course, A Wonderful Life was the third one that I put in that episode of the ones I'm mostly. All three of them are not out yet, and then everything else that I'm like really obviously going to cover. Like obviously, I'm going to cover the Winds of Anthos. All these things like they're just not out yet. I mean, I will play some of these, but like
I'm going to play Smooshy at some point.
Yeah, I do need to play that. The problem is they shadow dropped it. So like I can't just like add it into the list of games, especially at this time of year. This is a really bad time of year to shadow drop a game and then just cover it, right? Because we have been planned the next 2 months of episodes. We planned it like 2 months ago. Because there's a lot of work to do.
A lot of games.
To do more than 2 months worth of podcasting in the course of a month. It's a lot of work to do that.
Yeah.
So that'll be one of the episodes we do in the second half of the year. Because I do definitely want to play that game.
Okay, well, since you don't have a Game of the Year contender per se, what are you most excited for to play?
Out of these ones.
Yeah, well, I don't know, or just the ones upcoming, because
we're going to talk about the ones that are coming later.
Okay,
fine.
We'll
talk about it afterwards.
Out of the list,
I think
because like you said, you'll play one of these at some point, probably.
Yeah. So I think probably the games. So I think there are 4 in this list that I definitely want to play at some point and definitely excited about. So obviously, Story Seasons: A Wonderful Life. Although, of course, I'm not going to be on the episode that we're covering that for. But anyway, whatever. Maybe I'll do a second harvest on it. There's Roots of Pacha I do want to play at some point. I'm quite excited about that. I've just not taken the time to do. One Lonely Outpost, I'm still excited about, I think, but not to the degree that I used to be. But I think I'm still excited about it. And, of course, Smooshy Come Home, I'm excited about as well.
Yeah.
So there we go. Those are my 4. I don't think any of them, except possibly A Wonderful Life, I don't think any of the others will be in my running for Game of the Year. I think all of my games for Game of the Year will probably be in the games that are not out yet. But obviously it depends on how many of them actually get released.
True. I mean, the ones we do have dates that will very likely come out, those are already some of the contenders, though.
Look, it's going to be really hard for me not to choose Mineko's Night Market, right? That's all
right. Like
I don't like to give too much away, but let's be honest, we have been excited about that for years, Kevin.
I need it so bad, finally. But we still have you didn't put or wait, is that not coming out this year?
What's that?
Mika?
Mika. Do I not have that on my list?
Yeah, Mika. When is that? Do we have
it's because it's generic. It's 2023. Yeah. So we don't technically have it. There are what is it, like 20 games?
Your bullet point says 1 million games with just 2023 in their release date. Which is true.
There are 24 games that are on my list that just say 2023.
Yeah, we're not even going to talk about those.
Half of them will not release this year for certain.
Oh, absolutely. Right? You're being generous.
At least half of them. Anyway, whatever. We'll get to that. Okay, Kevin, what about you?
Okay, I mean, like, I haven't played that many games because there's too many games, not even just Cottagecore. I think as of right now, what I have played, let's see, Roots of Pacha, I played Terranil, and I'm going to play Story of Seasons, which, oh man, Homestead Arcana's out. When did that come out? I did want to check that out because it has Yuri Lowenthal in it. Anyways, still, out of all those, like, I think it goes without saying Roots of Pacha right now is holding the crown.
Interesting.
Because that's a darn good game. I'm still playing that game. I can't wait for more content updates and whatever.
And you're saying it's good. Obviously, that I'm not saying that you're saying that it will be Game of the Year, but you're saying that if nothing else comes out this year, you're saying it is a contender for Game of the Year. It's that good.
Yes, I would say so.
I would never have guessed that before it came out. I would never have guessed that Roots of Pacha would be that good.
I mean, I don't think I expected it to be this good either, because again, just rehashing stuff I've said ad nauseum. At the end of the day, it's a very, very Stardew clone game, but the Stone Age coat of paint and what the love they give to the mechanics and stuff are really well done. It sucks you in like Stardew does.
Well, that's the thing, really and that's all you need. You need to to do it well, and that's the thing, right? Like that's what you just don't know until it comes out.
Yeah. So, Roots of Pacha. Again, and that's the stuff I played right now. But Story of Seasons, in that weird place of basically being here. That one, I mean, is probably, again, heavy bias from me. Just like many other people, first cottagecore game, or farming game, let's say. There's a lot riding on that one. I think the devs know there's a lot riding on this one.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully indeed.
But that's the thing. With that one, you can't say at this point, right? You can potentially say that it will be in the running, but you just don't know because you haven't played it. You don't know how it feels.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
So out of this list, it's good to be Roots of Pacha, but it's Wildflowers though.
Didn't come out this year, dude. Too late.
I played it this year. Came out this year for me.
Well, this is the thing, right? Back when we started, I was allowing that in Game of the Year. I was like, if you played one this year, then sure, we'll do it. But there's too many games that come out for us to do that now.
Yeah,
right? Like,
I think
it's just ridiculous.
And I say that, but I don't remember. Did I start? I don't know when I started Wildflowers. I might have started last year. I don't know. Anyways, but okay, let's talk about the ones that are coming out though. That had the heavyweights.
Okay. So here's the list of games that we have either an exact date for or a window that isn't just 2023, right? I don't think all of these will come out, but I think most of these will come out.
Sure.
And those are Sprout Valley, Cloudscape, Cornucopia, Flutter Away, Fae Farm, Mineko's Night Market, Harvest Moon: The Winds of Anthos, Paleo Pines, My Time at Sandrock, Moonstone Island, Spirit Tea, Dragon Acres, Critter Crops, Meat Light, Circle of Kerzoven, and Cloa, Child of the Forest.
These games!
And that's not to mention all the ones that are just 2023, which include Iconi Island, Wonderful, Mika and the Witch's Mountain, Laudalnot, Petadachi, Horticular, Snacko, Wanderlost, Ever After Falls, Little Witch in the Woods, Ova Magica, Elusive People, Moonhaven, Wholesome Out and About, Super Zoo Story, Pixelshire, A Last Song, Distant Bloom, Moondrop, Mossfield Origins, Disney Dreamlight Valley, Coral Island, Harvest Days, and Lens Island.
This genre needs to get better at naming things.
Oh my word! Yeah, how many islands were there? How many valleys were there? Like, oh my word!
They're all just. My eyes started glazing over a little. Again, I don't even know all these games, but just the names. Holy moly!
And here's the problem. Here's the problem: is even if you're just going to pick out the ones you're like excited about, right? We've got. Obviously, Mineko's Night Market. We've got Harvest Moon: The Winds of Anthos. We've got Paleo Pines. We've got Snacko, Mika and the Witch's Mountain, Petadachi. What else is there? I know you're excited about Super Zoo Story. We've got Disney Dreamlight Valley, Coral Island, Lens Island. Like, these are just like, we're just picking out, and we've still got to a list of 10.
Yeah.
Is this you Googling Super Zoo Story?
It is! I don't remember. Am I excited?
Oh, come on. How do you not remember it, man? You were so excited about it when we talked about it last.
Okay, I don't remember, but... Okay, there's a lot going on here. Yeah, all right. I mean, I like Let's Build a Zoo, so I'll probably be excited. I like animals, okay?
Yeah, come on.
There's dinosaurs in there. I'm not complaining.
It'll be. I really want this. I really want to know how this is compared to Let's Build a Zoo. But I think this is an RPG rather than a management game.
Yeah,
which makes it more different.
Yeah, which is interesting.
It makes me want to play it more. Oh, I don't know, but I'm exhausted just talking about all of these, man.
In this, and the really the difficult part. This is no offense to any of these games. Like I said, I don't even remember half of them. Apparently, I was interested in Super Zoo or whatever. That Mineko's Night Market exists, and I just, who cares? It's Mineko's Night Market, and then in my mind, the list is Mineko's Night Market, one bullet point, maybe Story of Seasons, another bullet point, and then everything else, third bullet point.
Yeah, so here's a problem for you, right? You can't choose Mineko's Night Market, and you can't choose 30 Seasons of Wonderful Life. What are you most excited for?
Maybe Super Zoo Story ?
Well, that's the thing. It's really hard. It's really hard to pick one out, isn't it?
Yeah, Paleo Pines though.
Yeah, good one.
I have to look at. I remember Cloa Child. What's Cloa? That seems familiar. Hold on.
I can't even really remember that one.
That I know we talked about it. I just don't remember what it's like.
Consumed by a mysterious curse, restore a once lush forest and its inhabitants to their natural state in this action-adventure tale. Experience fast-paced combat, puzzles, and the beauty of nature captured in handcrafted pixel art.
It looks nice.
It does look nice. This is the problem. They all look nice. This is my point, right? Like, I legitimately, I would struggle to pick out one, right? Because then you go, well, maybe it's Mineko, but then you go, but no, Snacko. Like, I've been looking forward to Snacko for years, and then there's obviously, I'm really excited for Disney Dreamlight Valley to finally release in 1.0, and then of course there's Coral Island. Like, I had so much fun with that. I need more of that, and it's just like, and it's like, but then Harvest Moon: The Winds of Anthos could legitimately be really good, or it could be terrible. Like, who knows? There's Paleo Pines, obviously. There's Fae Farm, which looks fun. There's obviously Story of Seasons of Wonder. Like, I just don't know where to start.
There's a simple question I ask myself. Do any of these games, again, putting Mineko and Story of Seasons to the side, do any of these games let you farm with your dinosaurs? There's only one that I see.
Yeah, but do any of the others let you play as a cat?
Are there other than Mineko that let you play as a... Well, I mean, Mineko's not a cat. Yeah, duh, okay.
No, Mineko, you grow...
You farm the cats.
Farm cats.
Yes,
and we're still not sure whether you eat the cats or not.
Well... that'll only increase it for me. But... What is Critter Crops and Meat Light? I don't know these games. There's too many games, Al.
I don't know what my point is about this section. There's lots of games. What are we most excited about? Lots of them.
Oh, Critter Crops. I remember this game. That's a very pretty art style. Wow. Okay. The point of this section is to remind you all these games that we might be interested in playing. I don't know what Meat Light is, still looking at it. But so, okay, out of these, again, putting Mineko and Story Seasons to the side, the clear, like, the odds are favoring them, right? I think the difficulty for me is I don't know how many of these games I'll actually get around to. There's a lot of games coming out. Out of the ones other than Mineko and Story Seasons, Paleo Pines is like a lock for me. Like, I will play this most likely this year. That for sure. There's some other ones, like I said, I'll probably get Smooshy. I'm interested in Homestead Arcana. Critter Crops looks cute. They're on my list, but not as locked down yet. So and like, obviously we've been invested in Minekos for years, and Story of Seasons has decades of nostalgia or whatever. Like, I know what to expect. Having so many games, it's so easy to get lost and remember what each one's going to be. So it's hard to feel as excited for them. And again, nothing on them. It's like Roots of Pacha, right? Like you said, I don't think either of us expected for me to enjoy it that much. Right? Like, I'm sure a lot of these games will probably be very quality. It's very possible, but it's just hard to say from, looking right now at the future.
Yep, definitely.
Listing them all. But yeah, so Paleopines is the only big one I'm really gunning for right now.
Interesting. Yeah. See, I think I could probably narrow it down to 5.
Okay.
It's pushing it, right? So we got Mineko, obviously. I feel like I'm going to put Harvest Moon, The Winds of Anthos into that. Not because I think it'll be Game of the Year, but in terms of like most anticipated, right? Like I'm really looking forward to playing that, even if it ends up being terrible.
Okay.
And then we got Snacko, which we don't even know is definitely coming out this year. If it, that's one of the ones that I'm kind of leaning on, may well be delayed. We've got Mika and the Mitch's Mountain. That's definitely on there as well.
Okay.
And then it's really hard to like get the 5th one because there's like so many that I'm looking forward to.
Just go with Fae Farm.
I don't think I put Fae Farm in it. Like I'm looking forward to it, but I didn't even put Rune Factory 3 special on the list for some reason. Yeah, come on, but it's on the list, right? It's sure. Like, I'm not on my list. I didn't read it out,
but it's on the list. Sure.
Like Disney Dreamlight Valley, maybe.
My sister's into that one. Okay, I'll go with 5.
Coral Island and Lens. All right,
I'll try it. I'll try to go narrow 5. My 5 picks. If I can only pick 5, of course, Mineko, Mika, Paleopines, Story of Seasons, and Critter Crops. Okay, there, I did it.
I think I need to extend to 10.
There's a lot of good games coming out.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's not like this is what we were talking about with Johnny in our last episode. Like, there are so many games and it's exhausting, but the problem is that they're all so good.
Yeah.
Like,
this is, what is it? And there's a term for this. Embarrassment of riches? Is that what it's called? I think so.
Yeah. Well,
you remember when you started this podcast? There was some people had maybe not doubts, but there was some uncertainty as to whether you'd have enough stuff to cover.
There were so many people who were like, oh, you're never going to have enough to cover. And I was like, I mean, this is why I said farming games, not just Stardew Valley, right? Which was a good call, I think.
Yes.
But maybe it's too broad.
I mean,
it's bizarre that we've had more games released so far this year in the first half of this year than any of the last 3. In fact, any previous year, right? Because even if you go like any year you go back to, there are fewer games, fewer cottagecore games that released.
Yes,
unless there's a huge list of them that I'm missing that I'm not aware of, right? Like if you look at like the list of games that I know of that came out between 2010 and 2015, that is 12. Between 2005 and 2009, that is 15, right? Like there's not all of the games that I know of before 2005, right? Like it's absolutely crazy to me that there are so many games coming out.
Well, okay. I think, so when you look at it that way, it's not just COVID being over. It's definitely something else. I think, and we've talked about this before, that like this is an explosion of this cottagecore, quote unquote, whatever that means, field. I think it has a lot to do with the aging, I would say, of the population playing these games.
Yeah.
Because now I could be wrong. I don't have any hard data on this. This is just the general feel from my own social circles and what I see on the internet. A lot of the people who enjoy these games are, I don't feel like they're kids necessarily, right? Like, I'm not saying kids don't play them, but I feel the people who anticipate them the most or are invested in these are adults around our age. Again,
I would agree.
Who played maybe A Wonderful Life when they were younger or whatever. And just with this, how chaotic life has gotten for so many people like you and me, I think cottagecore serves a really good escape, and that's why it's really grown, and a lot of developers have realized how many people enjoy that.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I also wouldn't say that kids don't play these games, but I would say they play them less. And I think that like, if a kid is going to play a cottagecore game this year, it's probably going to be Disney Dreamlight Valley, right? Like that's the kid-focused one. That's the That's what Disney are trying to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's Disney.
I think
like
they're trying to get a lock on that, right? That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're going for the kids and obviously the nostalgic millennials.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah,
we could spend forever just like talking about how there's too many games, but I think the point is there are lots of games to be excited about, and there's probably a game that anybody would be excited about. Like there's a game for everybody here, I think.
Yeah, there is.
Don't sound so excited about it.
It's too much.
Kevin, where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me at Koopa Prez on Twitter if you want to see me retweeting other funnier people. You can find me at Sprider Square to see my art stuff. And hey, for once, I'm actually updating it now. Maybe not like the last week, but I have been active there again. Because when you're unemployed, you have more time to do these things. So,
go commission, Kevin. Go commission for your pixel art.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Where do people find you, Al?
You can find me on Twitter or on mastodon.scot with the username TheScottBot. You can also find the podcast on Twitter at THSPod. You can find links to everything we discussed. Oh my word, it's going to take me a long time to write up all these links because I mentioned every game that's coming out this year.
Look, just put a Google Doc and put the link. You don't need a link to every game.
We'll see.
Maybe the good ones. Maybe our top 5.
And links to all our other things, including feedback form and a link to our Patreon, where you can give me money and get access to the Slack and also our bonus podcast episodes. We're going to do one on the Direct.
Hey, Al. You know how we just said there's too many games?
Yeah. Let's talk about some more games.
What if I told you there are more games?
Here are thoughts on the new Nintendo games coming up.
It's good. That's because my
thoughts. We went from 0 games coming out after Pikmin 4 to 6 games coming out, I think. Something like that.
Too many. Stop it. You stop it, gaming industry. Give me a year to catch up.
Cool. I think that's everything. Thank you, Kevin, for joining me.
Thank you, Al.
And thank you, listeners, for listening. And until next time, have a good harvest.
I'm too overwhelmed by games. Woo.
The Harvest Season is created by Al McKinley, with support from our patrons, including our pro farmers, Kevin, Stuart, and Elisa. Our art is done by Micah the Brave, and our music is done by Nick Burgess. Feel free to visit our website, harvestseason.club, for show notes and links to things we discussed in this episode. Sonic. Oh, we need to talk about the Sonic Central as well.
Oh, yeah, we can bring it up in the Direct.